legion of players here. Peekaboo, I've been here the whole time.
All right. Welcome back to the desk and the age-old esports debate, Europe versus North America. We always love to see it, right? I love it. And Nameless, we're going to kick things off with the London Royal Ravens. They're going to be a hot team. I'm loving what we've seen with Zero, Nasty, and all of them this season.
Yeah. They've been unreal. I mean, looking at the London Royal Ravens, what we saw out of them in their last match, you know, it was an L. They lost both hard points, so I'm looking at them to step up there. But with London Royal Ravens, I've really been enjoying what I'm seeing overall. They're ranked 3rd in the league, and we've been seeing players like Gismo take off, pop off in these matches. But it was Zero in the last series who really didn't have the best performance, so I'm looking at him to bounce back once again, though.
And you know what? We were talking about how London needs to start working on rotations. And at one point it was like, you know what? If it's not broke, don't fix it. But now it's broken, right? So please, London, rotate. But when it comes to the game fuel keys to victory, Nameless, what do they got to do?
Got to work together on rotations. London is last in rotation win percentage. Seattle is 2nd. And that's a stat that we had going into the last series, that they were very bad at rotations, but they were good at breaks. But still didn't see any improvement there. So we're looking at it once again, going up against a strong hardpoint team in Seattle. And then also take advantage of S&D retake scenario. Seattle is last in win percentage after planting. So that's a big opportunity there for the London Royal Ravens. And then also Map 3 Kings, 1st in round win percentage and KD in control. Even in the last series they lost, they're able to take down that Gavutu control. Testament to the strong AR play that we've been seeing out of Zero and Gismo in that game mode. So looking at them once again to perform there.
You know what? I think one of the biggest keys of victory for this London team is that they are still just entirely underrated here in the CDL, right? Like, I still think that they're not getting the respect that they deserve, and
gotta earn it.
Just wait till you're
gotta earn it.
Hey,
we're gonna this is the match where they earn it.
Don't put me on the spot for pickups yet. But also when it comes to Seattle, Nameless, dude, I mean, they've been going strong. Even though they had a big upset yesterday.
They got smoked.
They got destroyed.
They did. They did get destroyed. So we'll see if they can come back today. The maps weren't even close, honestly. I mean, looking at Seattle, I still think they are a very, very, very good team. I just think they were caught off guard by the aggression of the Florida Mutineers. I think that was the best COD we've seen Mutineers play all year long.
Right.
And Seattle, they just weren't ready for that. So they faced some big adversity. It's time for them to bounce back. Sib and Pred are usually the guys that are applying that pressure. But yesterday, that was not the case. Vivid was in their face and was frustrating them. So when a team plays them like that, a team like Atlanta FaZe or some of these more aggressive teams, how does Seattle play? We'll learn that today versus players like Afro and Nasty.
And I love the fact that you said that, because teams are going to bring it against Seattle. But aLLeY, what are going to be the game field keys to victory?
You know what, Billy, I'm going to be honest with you. This first one is a little disrespectful. Sib bounce back will be critical. 1.23 KD coming into the weekend. Had a 0.68 in the loss versus Florida. Definitely need a big turnaround today, but I have no doubt that he will do it. Quality setups critical in hardpoint. Seattle is 8th in hold percentage. London is 1st in break percentage. But again, London has been slacking on rotation, so Seattle needs to capitalize on that, but they also have to win the rotational gunfights going into it. Win the first blood battle in S&D. Both teams tied for 1st in first blood percentage, but London is winning 86% of 4v3. So once London gets that first blood, man, it's basically the round is chalk. So Seattle's got to get that first blood or capitalize on being a man down.
And take a look at the roster right now, a team that pretty much struggled going against Florida. And I'm just going to say it was definitely Florida just throwing everything at them, being in their face and being persistent. Those are the type of play styles that you expect from the likes of an Afro. So all of these players right here, Sib having that 0.68. Now we want to see you back around 1.2. We all know what Lamar is made of. That's the Iceman. He's going to clutch it out. But when it comes to pick'ems right now, Nameless, Seattle, they have a... Like, everyone is gunning for them right now.
Absolutely.
Do you think that they're going to hold up in this matchup against London, or do you think London's going to take it?
I think they're going to respond accordingly. I think they're going to win it, but it's going to be a grueler all the way down to Game 5. I think it's going to be an absolute banger. I got Seattle 3-2.
I was actually struggling. I was thinking of crosshair. That was the word, by the way. But aLLeY, when it comes to predictions right now, who you got, girl?
Man, I think it's going to be a Sib versus Gismo bloodbath, but I'm going to go with Seattle Surge.
I like that. I'm going to say it right now. I think one of the highlights when it comes to London, hey, shout out to London behind me, is Afro. Man, Afro in these respawns, especially hard point, he sticks to that point like white on rice, and he is always in your face. But the thing is, he's going to need a lot more help from a lot of his teammates, and everyone has to fire off on all cylinders. In that sense, I think Seattle does it just simply better. So I'm rocking with them as well. 3 on the desk for Seattle, and it's time to send this over to the commentators, Miles and Chance. How you feeling today, and how you feeling about this matchup?
I'm still mildly hungover from all the rank play we've been playing, Chance. And about you, I cannot shake it, but I'm feeling good and feeling excited. And Veli, I must admit, my heart dropped there. You were selling it on this whole London revenge arc story, and Afro was playing this, and at the last meet, you're like, see, I'll just do it better. Boom, mic dropped. So did my heart, mate. But I'm ready to get into today. Chance, you're looking very, very glowing and lovely. I feel like Casper the Friendly Ghost next to me. But how are you feeling, brother? You ready to rock and roll today?
I'm feeling very good. Honestly, I think we have some fantastic matches ahead, right? I think towards the end of the day, you get like Clay versus the Tiny Tears, New York versus Atlanta, always a good time. OpTic are going to be playing Boston. I think that's the one match that actually has implications for the teams that started losers versus winners for the first major. And for London versus Seattle, it's sort of a square up match, right? Like we saw these guys at kickoff. And I think, I don't know if you're the same way, Miles, I was very surprised at how well London had been performing throughout stage one. I think a big reason it came as a surprise is because we only saw them play one series at the kickoff where Seattle just 3-0'd them. So I think they sort of set the tone for London's lower expectations that London's been fighting back from. So I just like the rematch.
It's amazing as well for both squads when you think about how difficult their last few years have been, and now all of a sudden they're two of the top teams we're looking at in the league, you know, outside of the regulars. So very exciting, regardless of what current form looks like. Both of them, of course, coming in this on a It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait, though. Maps and Mo's now. Let's get this series on the way. Dusk and Hardpoint up first. Berlin, Search and Destroy. And then we have the back-to-back Gavutu's chance. Bocage, Game 5. And I do have a feeling, man, again, based on just the way things are looking, recent form has to be taken into consideration. We could be going to a Game 5. And that will be very, very exciting indeed. The pickings be damned. It's going to be a lot of fun. But here we go, friends. Map number 1. Our first series of the day here on this glorious Sunday. The last before the major gets going. And let's get into it, Chance. Tuscan Hardpoint up first.
Yeah, and obviously you see there, both of these teams, strong record on this map. But to take it a step further, I think Seattle, they have been on point in their Game 1. So they've been great at getting off to a hot start. They've been great in the map 5s. They've been great in the round 11. So Seattle has not lacked the clutch factor in any way, shape, or form. And honestly, for those guys, it's just an interesting situation, right? Like, you go to the kickoff, get second overall, but they fall to Toronto. You go into stage 1. One of the first matches they did was beat Toronto. So you're thinking this team might be over the moon. And then they get 3-0 by Florida. So I think for both of these teams, it is very important for your final match just to get that confidence before going into major.
Confidence essential. Sib, a player with bounds of it. That nice opening kill there on the Gismo. Now to the flank, trying to open things up with the Ravens and the hard point right off the rip here. So again, looking for that map control, looking for those kills. And Pred, he's finally in and out. That's going to be number 4 in the minimap. This player right here, he's been a very dynamic submachine gun player, making an explosive entry into the league, and so far all good. Kills going his way, keeping the Ravens on pressure, aware of the spawns as well. Love to see that. But that's going to be Ravens once again. Decent amount of map coverage, kills going their way. Here comes the counterattack from Seattle, trying to get on the board.
And the interesting dynamic between these two teams when it comes to hardpoint, right? I think it's that rotation battle. Seattle are phenomenal at actually out-rotating their opponent, which currently, actually, maybe they're not doing. Everyone from Seattle spawns out. Well, the flip side was supposed to be London are just fantastic at actually breaking the hills. So London used to fighting off the back foot. Now they actually get set up towards this hill early on, but I think for the moment, it is just trades back and forth. Neither team able to actually get any of this hard point time, but London with those back spawns, they are still at that slight advantage.
His Valley favorite player, Afro, 6-1 so far on a 2 spree. West Midlands finest. It's going to take more than that grenade to kill him, and here comes the attempt. Seattle now making their way forward. Great timing from Mack on the push into the hard point. They are going to go now. Backline still is a little bit safe, though. Zero and Nasty keeping the fight alive now for the Ravens. On the point, though, is accuracy with the pistol. Rat-a-tat-tat. Trades once again, as neither team able to really find the hold here over by Statue. Sib, nice kills again. But once again, man, it's trade after trade after trade. That's the name of the game here in Vanguard.
And make no mistake, right? Seattle do a very decent job of battling back for not being able to get that rotation in P2. But as far as opening breaks go, those first 2 hills, you're used to when you start on the, I don't know, if you spawn on the left side of the map, normally you win P1, but lose the rotation in P2, and then the game kind of gets evened up after the fact. But London right now, they're on point. Massive battle for the rotation, by the way. Gismo's taking it down, and look at those spawns ever from London on that roof, getting ready to storm the back of this hill.
Well, they're going to walk straight into the guns of accuracy. He's posted up on the left-hand side. Gizmo can't get in. Good nades once again from accuracy. Afro finally managing to be the entry kill. In we go now to the point. We do manage to get Nasty on there for a second, but Seattle Surge still too many numbers around this one. And again, Fountain is a hard point to break, indeed. Good coverage now from Seattle. All 4 arrows on the minimap now spread out. All avenues covered. The information game now being played. Slowly but surely, Chance, they're bringing this one back. 62 now to the 27. Climbing, Seattle Surge.
And again, this is just another situation where it might not be a tried and true break for London, but it is still Seattle that more or less gets to the back first. I know they got the roof spawns, but accuracy was posted up. And I mean, this is 3 hills where I think Seattle sort of butchered a couple rotations. They've only been able to get 33 points in total, maybe 40 plus by the end of it, but you're still down going over towards Church where London, I mean, you see all 4 players stacked in and around this hill. They should be able to get the perfect setup that they want. It should be free and clear for London for the first 15, 20 seconds.
Right, it's going to be a hope and a prayer now from Seattle. Try to find that opening kill. In we go from Simp. Accuracy now getting involved as well. Big win from Afro there. Staying alive, keeping the point flowing. And now in we go. Seattle surge. 3-man on point. 1 through the front door, through the back. But Afro still roaming, still finding these kills. Up over the top. Oh, it's good. Afro finds himself 2. That's going to be the Ravens. Still in control of the point. Pred trying to make things naughty on the back end chance, but it ain't happening. 30 seconds remaining here on Church.
And such a stronghold, right? Even if it gets broken down just for a moment, the Frank from Afro is going to be on point. 15 kills he has, by the way. Him and Gismo have been, what, 2 of the top 5 slayers we have seen throughout stage 1 so far. And Afro right now on Tuscan providing once again. Gismo, though, in a situation, more important rotational gunfights. He's taking his time because he's dealing with 2. And honestly, right now, Gismo has no help, so he gets taken down. And for Seattle, I mean, right now, you are down by, what, 60 points. It's P5. It's not easy to do, but you need a strong hold.
Red 5. And they're going to try to hold this one down. Here comes the hit from Mack through the front. Hold it down so far, so good. Ravens still trying to make the approach. And Simp doing a lovely bit of work on the back end, Chance.
Doing a fantastic job. You get both sides pushed out. I think maybe a little bit unaware of spawns for the moment. Simp should spot one out, but he does get taken down. But either way, I mean, this has been 30 clean seconds. This has been Mack going on a 5. So this is the hill that they needed. And so far, they are still getting it. And the glide bomb does not come through. Mack can't quite pull it off as these final 20 seconds getting ready to fly by.
The breakers do what they do. They managed to break into another point, and now we're going to look towards the final 15 here, and rotations back over to first. Let's go for a quick listen in with the London Royal Ravens.
Outside you. Outside you. Accuracy weak. Accuracy weak. Red's mid, bro.
Accuracy one shot fire. This one fire.
Fucking beautiful play, bro. This one in now.
On me old. He listens.
He's filled off.
Fire to mid. Fire to mid. Fire to mid.
I'll pitch 3 maps now. Give me a sec.
One was filled off.
Bottom church probably.
Listen, I'll pitch 5. Give me 1 second, bro.
Bottom church corner. Bottom church.
Simp weak. Close left. I don't know bottom church.
Push our back flowers. Back flowers.
Yeah, back flowers dead.
Which one fire? Come.
One more. He's going that side now.
There's only one on there. There's only one on
Give me on that tree.
That tree left side. That tree. Stone. On the right. God heady. Weak. One shot. Stay that side.
Yeah,
Middle. Nice. How are you mid? Stay down. How are you mid?
I got mid behind.
Okay, here. Stay down. Have your whole cross.
Two top church.
Mid's open.
Two mid. Sleep on the heady. One shot.
Low fire. I can't low fire. He's going outside you. Pre-mid.
Grenaded.
After you, done.
Nice, Marcus.
I got you, Marcus. Stay down.
Hey, kill me. Stone. Hey, this time, bro. Every play.
I think he's close left that.
No, yeah, he's stone, bro. He's stone.
Stone 2 dead.
Stone still.
Help me. Flash it.
If you left. Keep it up on you, Matt. Absolutely on you.
Nice, good job.
Hey, play through this time, bro.
One of me close.
Nice.
Good shit.
Keep it up, bro.
They're going to be on the back again. No, nade that tank if you got a nade.
I got comms.
I haven't got left. Not got left.
One new.
Plat dead.
I'm hitting ramp. I'll start. I got your ramp.
Don't yell at me.
At the back, got me. He's going out. Come around.
I'm pinching back. Close. Dead. One shot back. 2 blue truck. 3L. 1. 3L. Every kill this one out.
Dead.
I naded your front. Listen, I'm church. Looking for Mack.
Have your whole plaque, eh?
Could jump top church. Listen, could jump top church.
Have
you got a flank? What that is? Yeah. I'm getting back now. I'm getting it now.
Stop me plat.
I flashed your front right. I need your front right. I'm going your plat.
Sleep absolute plat. Get
all this scrap.
I'm helping you plat.
One more time.
He's telling me.
That's him. Run, Mack, Fred.
I'll kill him. Give me 2 seconds.
Nice, good shit, boys. Keep it up. Good shit, Brian. Keep the fuck up. Go maps.
I got this sign. Wait for me, Brian. Wait for me.
Where do you go?
Already at maps.
Might be you and you. Don't see you. I said I've Joe.
Listen, it's fine.
Yes, they are.
I'm going. Fucking good.
Bomb check, Fred. Good fucking
nice shit.
I'm round the back. Mr. Mack, he's on me at the back of the truck.
Yeah, he's a truck. Right, so take kill.
Have you got tiles?
Wait, have you got back, yeah?
Go back.
That's just...
I can. Go for it.
Okay, we heard plenty of good comms in that one, Chance. We had plenty of everything, frankly. What do we make of that one now with the 100-point lead starting to work out for the Ravens?
I mean, I may give it just 2 hills back-to-back that can be money hills on this map that Seattle ordinarily are on point with holding. And London, I mean, it's just a cakewalk. They just find the one lane, the one opening, and win the one gunfight that they need. just to break through with ease. I mean, this has been a schmangling of a map one so far. And honestly, there was even a few moments where London started to, in my mind, almost throw things away, losing the spawns, having a bad rotation, but then they just completely turn up and find all the kills. And it's hard to, or easy to understand why, I should say, is Afro. 29 kills to his name. I mean, the man has been frying from the first hill and honestly has not slowed down in the slightest. Another opportunity, by the way, for Seattle. They get to this hill first. London, they have been walking through and breaking these hills with ease. Seattle, they need to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Seattle now trying to lock down Church. The Ravens, 2 from the top side. 2 through what looks like the back getting cleaned up slowly but surely. Mack finding 1. Gismo out of the side door. This crusade has somewhat failed. They've yet to really be able to break in the Church. Seattle finally finding a couple of hold time here. Chance. It's not been an easy thing to do, but it's still good now. 3-man hit now from the bottom side for the Ravens. Mack tucks his tail between his legs and gets out while the get is good. Here comes the re-entry. Beautiful stuff out of Mack. Kills coming through. Seattle Surge hold this one down. 20+ seconds remaining here, Chance. So they're going to be able to turn that frown upside down with all that time.
Holding on for dear life. I mean, maybe one hill to get you right back in this game, or maybe the fight for scrap where everybody in the back, beat downs and trades left and right, but that is enough of a swarm that London, I think, just sort of mitigating their losses, right? Give up what turns out to effectively be a money hill, but make sure it's not too dismal. It'll still be about a 50-point differential between these two teams. Zero checks his corner, but a little too late. Simp is going to be there, and again, this is the story. Seattle, they win that rotation battle. Now they just need a hold. It's Afro on the pinch. The rest of London coming in through roof.
Massive kills from Accuracy on the front. Here comes the pinch from Mack. Nasty once again winning those big long-range fights. Accuracy now last player up for his team in point. Here comes the flank Ravens. This is why they're so good at breaking hills. That's P5. That's all theirs. 2 members of Surge left on the front side, and Nasty's got a thing or two to say about it. Here comes the play. Nades through though. Beautiful coordination now from the Surge. Over to Zero, finds 1. Shots in on the second. Not able to get any more out of this one. Afro now from downstairs, and it's a clean sweep. Seattle Surge, they break back on in.
They're trying to fight right now, but still London, you see the idea. 2 players out in the window, and they are taking their time because it's only 13 seconds. You know where accuracy is going to be. You got to get the trades, and they make it happen. And for London, they can still win on this hill. The time is going their way, so Mack, you got to contest for at least a second. And on top of that, you got to rotate. That contest is enough. Now the rotation battle, accuracy is the first one on the hill. 2 players in front. He wins the first, but he gets traded out. And London, the clean sweep, the kills in the feed. Take care of business. Job done. Map 1. London, take it away.
They think it's all over. It is now. Ravens with the map 1 victory chance. And at times, Seattle Surge looks a little stunned, looks a little slowed. We heard the comms from the Ravens. There is a particular ferocity they are playing with today. The booming baritone of Afro. That dead! And that stayed with me, man. He's absolutely frying today. The team's looking strong. Seattle, though, a couple of incredible moments when it comes to the breaks. 2 teams that are very, very aggressive around the hard points. And again, as far as like game fuel keys to victory go, everything's sort of falling in place there in that map number 1. Great start to the series.
In the main factor, obviously Afro, 35 kills, tippable, leads the lobby in slang. Oh my dear God, by a decent margin. Also 4K damage, but there's a couple hills that I think honestly would be like worth a rewatch if you're trying to learn how to like break some hard points, because London doing it perfectly. The second rotation towards P2, I think Gismo's the guy finding entry. That is just finding the perfect lane to get inside, but even the hill towards the end, that final P5, the timing they had with Afro coming on the flank, exactly where they're trying to find these kills, I mean, literally perfection. I think there's a player on Seattle that's waiting for Afro on the flank, just waiting for the gunfight to come through. But eventually, there's too much pressure on the front side from the rest of the Ravens players. So he turns to help his team. And as soon as he turns, Afro's there to shoot him in the back. I mean, just perfect pinches on hills. London's timing for these breaks has been impeccable.
It's exciting to watch this P5. The last few moments, in the final set we had, the Seattle break back, like they were breaking each other back and forth there on P5. Not an easy thing to do when you think about how difficult that room is, with the nades and trophies and the way the trades work in this game. So it was great to see the coordination out of both squads who, have definitely got, extremely strong hardpoint games. So kudos to everyone here in this game. This was a sweat fest for sure. To believe we could have started the day off with Bocage. To believe.
And this is it, by the way, Miles. Real quick, sorry. Number 1, you see as soon as he turns, that's when Afro comes around, just to get that little tip of the cap. Sorry to cut you off, but that was a cool moment.
Brother, real good. I'm absolutely waffling as we get through this real long set of highlights because it was an exciting one to start things off again. But there's the Ravens taking map number 1, Seattle Surge. The bounce back will be on, though, in the Search and Destroy, and this is going to be a treat friends, an absolute treat. Maps and modes, again, as this long series has only just begun. A 3-0, very unlikely so far, friends. Balloon Search and Destroy, though, chance coming up now. How we feeling, mate? Which way are we dressing?
Honestly, at this point, I think I'm leaning towards London. I mean, they were predicted for the series, but we're going to Berlin, where last time these two teams played, it was a 6-4 victory for Seattle. Obviously, a very close game. London was certainly in it, and they've made improvements since then. But lately on Berlin, both of these teams have been 1 and 2 throughout this stage. But London's KD has been much better. Their round win percentage has been a little bit better as well. But I think the most important thing for me is I was kind of surprised to see that Seattle was choosing to play Gavutu control and actually banning out that Tuscan. Because at the kickoff, I mean, Seattle 3-0'd them on Tuscan control. And Gavutu currently, you have London, #1 overall KD in control. They have like a 1.19 on Gavutu. Gismo has been just like, I don't know, one of the best slayers in the game on that map. So I think, honestly, the next two maps London have back-to-back are in a bit of a strong spot. Admittedly, the Berlin will be a battle, but if I'm the Ravens right now, I'm feeling pretty comfortable.
See if that comfort can translate into the game, though. Again, with Seattle Surge, you see everyone's sort of calm demeanor across the board, listening in, of course, final words from coaches before we get into the Search and Destroy. Bit of a reset indeed, it has to be, because, you know, respawn mode, very different. You've all been playing rank play now, by sure. When you get those hard points, it's one thing. When you reach Search and Destroy, you do have to take a deep breath and, you know, reset. And for these pros, we're going straight into it. Berlin on the horizon now. To be a fly on the wall right now for these teams would be a lot of fun, chance to hearing those little bits of moments. I know we do have access to those recordings. We can't listen to them. But again, what do you say after a big loss? What do you say after a tight win? What do you say, you know, when you're in game 5? What do these coaches bring to the table? And that's one thing that, and we've debated for a long time here in the Call of Duty world, you know, what a coach genuinely, you know, adds to a team. Back in the day, of course, Mr. X, glorified hype man, he won't mind me saying that. Just screaming stuff across stages. I know he hates when I say that, but it's true though. I mean, now we've heard a lot of great stuff from the comms checks. We hear a lot of things on streams now. Coaches playing a very pivotal role in my opinion.
And you see the stats on screen. Yes, the coaches, I think, an impact, but I think specifically for this one, you see the KDs out of this world for Gismo and Afro. You saw actually very comparable on like S&D in Berlin specifically, right? These teams tied in first blood percentage. I mean, even on offense and defense, very close to each other. Maybe a slight edge to London overall, but this, I think, has an absolute battle written all over it. No one needs to watch the cross. If it's 4-stack towards A, only 2 players here for Seattle. Mack, good luck with the gunfights. He at least gets that first blood.
I love this reposition as well. Saw Gizmo's shoulders. Sees another. Whoa, Mack will be brought down. 2v2 now. Zero and Nasty. Bomb in hand. They're getting out. The Sib saw him. Sib saw them. Oh, baby, this could be horrendous. He's going to check the bomb site. Sees him on the cross, knows they're going to be. Accuracy's going to stay in place for now. Chance, but here comes the fast rotate. Can Sib save the day?
Gets first. Nasty now has to play a tight setup or maybe go for the chow and gets dropped instantly. There's a moment. I thought Sib, or he certainly didn't see him cross when he was over by the tank through the window, and I thought that was going to be the moment for London basically to get that free kill, but as soon as he breaks open the door, Sib, reaction time on point. Be able to get that kill, and even right there towards the end, Nasty again just trying to make some sort of big play, get out of dodge, but accuracy is there for the cover. A lot of credit, by the way, for the other two, Mack especially, right? If you are the two lone defenders on a site where there's 4 players coming and you still manage to at least get a couple kills before you get traded out and put your teammates in a 2v2, you are feeling good about your spot. As Seattle's turn now to attack. Accuracy spots 1 on the cross. 0 might be counter sniping this.
And he is. Not going to find a hole yet. London hit squad now, flying their way through the mailroom. Eyes on Pred. Can't see him yet. They know something's up. They managed to catch him out there, so Nasty does get that first blood chance. Here we go, 4v3 now. Bomb going back over towards A for Seattle. Mack's going to be the entry man. Gismo doesn't check it. He's in trouble now. That should be an A plant.
And I think Sid might be able to make a play as well, right on the backside. He's at least giving this information to his team about who may or may not be flanking, but Sid does get dropped in the process. Now you got 0 flanking the actual players on site, and he's between them all. But that just leaves Mack in a 1 versus 3. And they haven't quite sniffed him out yet, but they got plenty of time to do so.
And Mack's going to try to play sneaky. Hello. Managed to find 1. The jig is up now. Mack now in the 2v1 situation. They're going to swarm him. 25 on the clock. Oh, boy. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Mack's made it a 1v1. Oh, my goodness. 20 seconds. A little bit of damage into Nasty, but not enough to get it. And okie dokie. Mack certainly making a meal of it. The defuse comes through. We're all tied up 1-1, but poof. Kenzie melts indeed.
That is the benefit of having 3 players alive, right? Just to make sure you were there for the trades towards the end. That was a very clutchable situation, but at least for Ravens, everyone grouped up in and around the bomb site and played it well towards the end. Good picks as well, right? I think Sid, when he was by the trains, he had a moment, I think, to nearly catch a player on the cross, but he gets traded out. Also, the Ravens doing a nice job of hunting down Pred, who was hanging out in whatever corner it was, bottom library or P2. So first bloods, I think the trades have been back and forth. 2 offensive round wins or defensive round wins in a row. Zero misses the shot, but has the intel. That means the bomb carrier should know there's going to be 3 players over towards B.
Right, sees at least one, an important one at that. Trades out, 3v3. Bomb does go down in the center of the mail room. Mack now trying to keep the top side safe, and he does. He and Pred working this very, very well, and they've done a great job. The man's job is done. It is all down to 0 now in the 1v3. Accuracy spots him. And honestly, 0, this is not ideal, but not impossible, Chance.
It's only possible if they give him something, though, right? I think accuracy, he just gets some shots in for a moment, see if he can get the free kill. But after that, don't peek any windows, don't peek anything at all. You have that bomb down in the worst spot possible, and I think 0 could certainly feel that pressure. Takes a tumble off the map, and I was a bit surprised. It was a very nice counter strat coming in through or for Seattle. As soon as 0 only spots 1 player on the cross, if there's that many players on defense stacked up over towards B, I mean, maybe an opportunity to wrap it back, but they were looking for the gunfights, but Seattle there just to overwhelm Ravens in that situation. Again, first blood so far this game have been key. Same with defensive round. 0 misses the shot, and accuracy spots 3 on the cross. I mean, you deal with 1 player, number 6, or how does that happen?
A barrel. Has to have been a barrel back there.
I heard the nade explode, too. I think he bungled his nade.
It could have happened. We'll find out later, though. But for now, Nasty spots Mack trying to make his way into the bomb site. Starting to check out. Pred's on top 3. A lot of line of sight through the middle of the map. Here comes the Ravens on the attack, though. 2 of them have left their post at A. 2 of them making their way in towards B. And it's just patience now. Mack peeks. Slight exchange. No kills. No nothing. 0 still watching over the bomb site. And this is tense, Chance. Bomb's going to be planted. You've got the numbers for the Ravens. But we've seen crazier things happen here.
The crazy thing is this flank right now. Mack inside has pressure on him. He's got the MP40, the right gun for the job, but keep in mind, number 2 accuracy. He's playing the clutch spots. There are 2 Ravens players that are vaguely looking for Mack in sight, finding kills. He gets traded, but accuracy has still not been hunted down. If I'm accuracy, I don't know if I'm shooting here, but he at least takes the first down. Gismo now in a 1 versus 2.
Pred's on the bomb site. Gizmo's going to abandon ship for now. If he can win the fight against Pred, great. But you still have to kill accuracy from that position. That is top Lamar, ladies and gentlemen. He is not giving up that line of sight. He's not giving up the bomb. Seattle with a round.
And well, for a moment, I was surprised accuracy shot. I didn't realize that they were winning enough gunfights that they had the man advantage. I didn't know Pred was still alive. That's a 3v4 clutch where Ravens, after they get gifted a free kill, because I think Sid somehow just kills himself with a grenade. I mean, they just don't get the guy off bomb. They allow the plant to go off, and even the 2 players that were going to deal, like, accuracy is going to be back there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, but it took much too long to actually check everything out, and that is a massive round win for Seattle.
These 2 on the cross now go towards A. Big information from 0. See at least 1 tag and a Nasty there on the crossover, and again, a lot of information this round for both teams. How will they play it, though? Pred v Afro. We've seen this a few times now. Pred may actually have the drop on him. There it is. That's huge. Now Pred should be able to get this kill. There it is. First blood going the way of Surge. Quick peek over towards the bomb. Sib's in position for this one. The slide. Great shots out of Sib. That's going to be 3 down now for the Ravens. There's the fast defuse. Wait a minute. Is it going to be enough, though, for 0? He put the sniper away this round. He put it away. Can he get the kill? He does. Still plenty of time. 0's got to stay alive here. Fights Mack. Takes care of Mack. Time is all good, though. Accuracy keeps the bomb alive, and despite the efforts from 0, it ain't going to come to pass. Surge with another round.
And a much better swarm towards that, like, back building area, right? Just to make sure you're checking every corner. Even if he's able to get that second kill and get 1 off bomb, you have to have the pressure in the back, and Pred is there to deliver. You really do have to go crazy. I mean, there's, 37 corners in that building. You could be up top, down low, in the window, like in the, little pocket of the wall that you can break. So there's a lot to check. You got to be quick about it. And right now, Seattle, I mean, just full speed ahead, 4-1 lead. I think accuracy right now, back-to-back, has had 2 phenomenal games. And I think Mack deserves a ton of credit as well. 7 kills, and he's been getting kills where he has been left alone to try to put in some work. Is now Seattle back on the attack. Zero tagged up, 6 HP, gets hunted down. First blood and a free bomb plant. Could you ask for anything more?
You could not. 4-man up for Seattle Surge. Post plant position for them now over by A. Afro's nade's going to check these corners. Won't find a thing. The Surge are spread out now. Here comes the counter push. Gismo burst in, finds that kill. Trade taps out with Nasty. Now he's in. Afro's on the site trying to find something here, and it is getting now loud and noisy. Less than 30 seconds on the clock. Accuracy in the fullback position. Red v Afro. That wins it again. 20 seconds now remaining. It's all on the Nasty. Cleaned up indeed. Seattle Surge once again running the show on Berlin.
And London, honestly, they're just not playing around accuracy very well at all, right? Like, obviously, the first blood is very nice for Seattle to get. It's effectively a free bomb plant. So the strat off the rip is nice, but I mean, even accuracy is just able to comfortably sit in the back, like almost unchallenged, and London not giving themselves enough time to really deal with them properly. And if you're giving up bomb planes for free at either site and you don't have enough time to actually go around in the back and take care of the guys that'll be in those clutch spots, you're just simply going to have no success. And London right now firmly on the struggle bus. That's 2 players on the cross. You think it's a free plant towards B, but Simp aggressive this time, gets that first blood. And that honestly might just be a dagger in this round.
Standing out in the middle of the road, finds the bomb carrier, drops him 4v3 now. Pred and Sib running this side of Berlin. Slow right back now from the Ravens. Zero backing up the team, going over towards B. Once again, Sib in position to slow down these hits. Not just slow them down, but bring them down. 4v2 now. It's 2 in the round for Sib. Less than a minute for the Ravens to get this bomb down.
And this is just so many problems they have to deal with. Keep in mind, by the way, number 4, just like watching the full cross for his teammates as well. So everyone for Seattle knows how safe they can play just because, you know, you have bomb down. And Sid's going to be able to find the information. Gismo eventually gets taken down by 3 different players. And accuracy maybe gives up a freebie, but you still do not have that bomb. 0 now for the 1v2. 25 seconds to work with.
Technical 1v4, he can get it, but it's not going to be easy. But okay, he's got the snapper. Okay, 0, 1v1. Surge, get it. And boy, oh boy, was it an effort from 0 in that final round. But Seattle Surge do start to finish around the guidance of accuracy. The first bloods from Sib. These boys looking fine on Berlin. It was a treat to watch, man. Woo.
I also think that might be the fastest Berlin S&D we've seen this year. I mean, that genuinely does not get easier for Seattle at all. One of the closest rounds we had was when 0 nearly clutched the 1v4. Outside of that, absolutely picked them apart. Seattle didn't have to do anything too crazy to make it happen. They just sort of played their game. I think the only real, like, you know, quote, creative play they had to implement was Sib just being more aggressive in that final round just to actually get that first pick. And outside of that, they just sort of did their normal thing, did whatever they want, and London had literally 0 response. That was not a pretty Berlin at all.
6-1 with a final game time of 7 minutes and 10 seconds. Blasting through this series, friends. Gavutu Control coming up next. After that, of course, the Gavutu Hardpoint, Bocage, Search and Destroy for map number 5. If we have to go the entire way, kind of hope we do. Chance this is getting to be a spicy series indeed. We hope you're enjoying the show, friends. We're going to throw to a very quick commercial break. On our return, more CDL action.
League is brought to you by Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
1-1 now going into the control. It's going to be a fun one. Miles' chance here to get you through the Ravens versus Seattle Surge. And so far, so good, mate. I mean, Berlin was an absolute blowout, no doubt about it. 6-1, I think it was. Very fast indeed. Our first hard point, though, a bit of a banger. Brother, now on Kuavo control. What's the vibes, Chance? I mean, both teams pretty good at the mode. Seattle were the early front runners when it came to how do you play control properly. They were the guys.
Absolutely. And again, I think that's part of my surprise as to why, Seattle wins the coin toss. They get to pick what control map they want to play, but they end up banning Tuscan, which they 3-0'd London on in the kickoff classic. Now, make no mistake, Seattle obviously strong on Kuavo as well, but it does seem to be a bit of playing with fire, right? Because London, again, top KD on this map, 2-0 record on this map. It's literally a 1.19, I think, that they have. And I mean, guys like Gismo, this has just been a super comfortable pick for him as well. He loves him some Kuavo control, and there you see actually map specific there. 1.19, I think, for control overall, and a 1.11 for London on this map specifically. And obviously, it's not like Seattle are too shabby at all, but I think London, honestly, if I were to have to make that pick, just a slight edge for Kuavo control. So we'll see how it plays out. Seattle, obviously, trying to carry some momentum from that Berlin into this series. And we got a B hit off the rip on offense. Things you love to see.
3-man B off rip. It's all going to be Pred to make the noise of it by A. They are going to get in here. I think Zero might catch someone here on the cross. Oh, did he? Yes, he does. That's going to be the fight now. Bigs up. You still have to worry about that attack towards A because Pred's still alive.
I think, honestly, Seattle didn't even realize how free they had this pickup, and they're still doing a nice job, right? You got Mack again winning key gunfights for his team over towards P1, but accuracy eventually gets dealt with. Still, though, you are pouring the pressure on to this B point. They want to take care of this off the rip, and honestly, why not? What's the point of just capping A off the rip if you're just going to waste lives and burn things? If you could get that pressure and try to get this point first, I like the idea, but now Mack, by his lonesome. And yeah, I was going to say the nades there to take him down. So nice little attempt, but ultimately to no avail. They don't even get that first tick and only up by life.
So close to get that first tick as well. Smart play at the Ravens to drain it. Here comes Afro. No top boat control for you, mate. Oh, good shots out of Nasty, though. Going to keep the play going. Here comes the pressure from Pred. That is not something that you'd be surprised by here on this map. And he's frying. That's a nice two-piece out of him. There's a bit of broken wall into a head. He finds himself one more. 22-19 now. Seattle Surge with a life lead. They've got 2 segments at A. Nearly done. There it is. Here we go. One left over by A. And then the battle towards B goes. Chance, but the kills looking all right now as the Ravens pull it back.
And I think right now, number 8 on the minimap, Afro might be the cutoff man. He might have 2 kills in front of him. And while Afro is getting those, you're getting players out of the hill as well. So that is the swarm on defense for London. The one really break to get map control that they needed. And Afro was the guy that delivered. And now for Seattle, you are in such a tough spot. You are firmly in the blender.
Yeah, this is it. The armbar's in place. You've only got 12 lives remaining. Afro's on a 4 spree, and they've managed to slip through behind him. A little bit of a missed time from him. That's fine, though, because straight up next, it's Gismo. He somehow gets himself 2 out of that one. It was a 5 in a row before being brought down. 9 lives now for Seattle Surge. Less than 10 seconds really to play with. It's all about the kills from here on out, but a very strong defensive opener here from the Ravens. That round will come to a close. No more final kills to take with us into the next round. Good stuff, though, out of both teams. Seattle, Chance, what do you make of the opening break? Again, nearly getting the first segment on B. They go for the 2 split. Kind of worked out for a while, but kills from the Ravens really pulled it back.
I like the attempt. Obviously, it's not easy. I kind of wish we would have seen a full commitment, though. Obviously, we had the benefit of the minimap, knowing that London Forge stacked over towards A and left 0 by tower, but I think if anything, there might have been an opportunity for Seattle to pour the pressure on more, but obviously if you're going to be dealing with that close spawn, going to be dealing with the nades that come through, it is certainly not easy. And I think really just the moment of that round turned out to just be that flank from Afro picking up the big kills. And as soon as you get map control on defense, it is difficult to let it go. Because right now we are just vying for map position over towards A.
Kills either side. As the Ravens commit most of the hit towards that A zone. Got to watch out for accuracy, though. The sole player now for Seattle Surge hitting the spawns of the Ravens. Afro with a slow and steady capture towards A. And I quite like this out of Zero. He's playing sensible. He knows accuracy is around here somewhere. Nasty's trying to play the front line as well. He might get gifted a couple of kills here. He's got no idea. Fred just climbed the ladder behind him. He let him through. He could cause havoc now. Does get one, slows the cap chance, and okay. A little bit of a gap in the Ravens' armor.
And I think what Nasty shot his gun, or maybe got a kill in the meantime. So they should know Nasty is behind them, but apparently they don't. Seattle might have lost track, so that's at least free kill number 1 for him. Is London still storming over round A? Nasty wins the second with the movement. Now he's 1 kill off a glide bomb. They're putting in the work on offense.
Gets the stun check though. That's going to make it real hard for him now. Surely they know he's behind. Here comes the hit from Nasty. This is for streaks. Red dots must be bloody everywhere right now. Pick one, choose and pick it. Fine, it does get it. That's going to be full streaks now for Nasty. 41 seconds on the game clock. Live starting to get a little bit out of control. Surge, they are being put on the back foot from the get-go here. Ravens not able to capture a point yet though, Chance. 35 on the clock.
Yeah, accuracy picking up a massive 2 kills. So you have a 2-front war right now. London are currently stuck in their spawn, and I mean stuck in their spawn, and Nasty trying to find any sort of opening. Still looking for that next kill just to sort of buy time, but it's a straight up 1v1 that he wins. And I think maybe number 2 accuracy might look for Nasty in that situation, or maybe just leave them be. 15 seconds left on the actual game clock for this round. In London, I think Seattle might be giving it up, or maybe one last ditch effort to sort of slide in the final seconds. Accuracy has to be the guy, and I think he can't make it happen. Loses his life towards the end. 8 points secured, and well, that's a 3-life lead and a glide bomb still in the back pocket for the Ravens.
I thought Surge had an opportunity there. I mean, the kills were going all right. Kept us closer than we've seen it thus far in the matchup, but here we go. Fred, this could work out from behind his attackers. All over to B we go though. P1 cover control. Yeah, Pred's played this great. One more. Picks a window, any window. Sadly, there's a lot of them over there by the green building, and here comes Nasty. Streak invested, accuracy's gone. Is this going to give him enough space to actually push up though, Chance? Still 11 to 13, less than 40 seconds to play with on the clock. This game is still anyone's.
I can't believe it. I will say, in my opinion, that is a bad glide bomb. I'm not a fan at all, but they have turned that into map control. Mack might be over by the boat, but everyone else for Ravens over towards the actual point. They are leaving 2 players up on P1 just to try to look over Afro and keep him alive. So it'd be a slow capture, but you at least get the power positions. This is not a bad setup for the moment for the Ravens.
Here comes the swarm though from Surge. They're starting to find the kills. It's all on Afro now on the point. Done. Clock starts to tick once again. Nasty trying to find the shots from up high, and he's going to be wiped out as well. So 20 seconds still to play with. Not a lot of lives either side. 6 for Surge, 8 for Ravens. One last decent push at this. You got 15 seconds. Let's see what they got.
And I mean, they have nothing, right? You know, you don't even want to just throw your lives. You have a 2-life lead. You had a life advantage in round number 1. I mean, I just have to imagine you have a decent enough start on a round of offense for control. Just play off the lives unless you're been gifted an opening. And I think that is like why I'm very surprised they invested that glide bomb at all. It's not like they had map control. It's not like they were close to capturing B. They didn't even have presence like over towards ring. They really had nothing, but they tried to make it happen. So no more streaks for Ravens, and we are tied back up 1-1. Say the good news for the Ravens, though, they still probably maybe +8 or +9 when it comes to the actual slang for the first 2 rounds. But I think Seattle, at the very least, again, just happy they don't have to worry about those streaks anymore.
Yeah, it was an incredible quality of life change we received in the Cold War season, whereby capturing segments, you know, the most segments captured decides who gets defense on the final round. Here it's kills, so you may as well play for him. Accuracy, doing just that. First to his name now in this match, or in this round, rather. Straight towards A we go. Quick contest. Ravens still trying to keep these members of Surge off it, and loaded Gismo finds 2.
And that is the 2 he needs, and that is London getting the map control on defense. And again, I've said it before, as soon as you get that little bit of control, it is incredibly difficult to break out of it. You see the trades coming through on Mack. You see Zero in a power position, just picking them apart one by one. There is a minute left in this round. It is not going to be easy for Seattle to get out of this at all.
Still got the life lead as well for the Ravens. Through the back, though, Pred keeping himself safe and secure. There's an open avenue to B now. It's clear skies. Even on a rainy day, they can run through that beachhead, get themselves over towards B. Nah, Zero's there. Big kill once again. Sib now watching that mid-map, trying to find the lives here, trying to find kills, play TDM. That's going to be the goal right now. You've got 30+ seconds now remaining in the round. Only 2, nearly 3 lives separating the teams right now. But here comes the hit. They'll be able to get on the point at the very least. You still want the kills. That's the name of the game right now for Surge.
And they stack the point might be too extreme, but it's still a decent setup over towards B. The problem is on the bottom side of the minimap, they're just getting picked apart. And well, the nades come through. Obviously, a hefty reminder, no trophy systems in this game either. So capping B is not easy in the slightest. You got Mack maybe trying to make a hero play. He gets dealt with, and you were just right back to that spawn trap. I think maybe Seattle, is it even worth it to try to go for A at this point? I think not.
We're not sure, but Final few seconds. Couple of consolation kills from the Ravens, and there's a lot there, man. They're winning the kills department. It has to be. They're feeling good about that one. 2 rounds up now to 1. We are going to go to another defensive round now for Seattle Surge. We're following the script right now. They should win it, but they have to slay like madmen. Otherwise, the Ravens will take control.
And just to add to your point, by the way, Miles, for like the quality of life changes we had last year for control, it's also, instead of just getting the bonus time after fully capping a point, we would get like 20 seconds per tick. Because keep in mind, in this situation, even the normal standard round of like being able to capture A on this map, you get the extra minute, you never get the bonus time for having any sort of success over towards B. So you're just always going to be maybe 40 seconds less than what you could potentially ordinarily have to capture the point. So time is an issue. Whoa. Just getting pelted by nades is an issue. And of course, watching the cross as well, accuracy might have Ravens. He's got the cuts for his team.
At least 1 patience from the Iceman indeed. 3 kills for his teammates there in the feed. A minute now to work with. Good stuff. Cleaning up the remaining members of the Ravens. Now back on spawn they go. And here comes Pred. Aggressive as you like. Flying in. They've got accuracy pinned. We have to worry about Pred now. Oh, baby, this trap is sprung. Here we go. Straight to the spawners. Zero's guns up in time. That's going to be the kills now for the Ravens. They keep those members of Seattle Surge out their base. Now they've got an opportunity to run forward.
And I think if I'm Ravens, right, I'm purely just playing TDM at this point. There is no reason not to. Both teams have ended up in the blender on defense right now. I mean, they're maybe plus 10 in kills. So as long as they don't get blown out in these final 25 seconds, you at least get defense for this final round. So I think Ravens sort of know the name in the game. That's why Gismo may be happy to deal with Pred on the flank. And you don't really need to overcommit towards B. Maybe you give it a try since you got some lives to play with. But again, not easy to get rid of these players watching the crosses at all.
Yeah, Pred's still just holding up. And look at the Ravens on the minimap. Left-hand side, they're all just flocked up. No one's letting anything get through. Final few seconds tick down, and there we go. We're following the script. But the kills department, really what matters here. Ravens should have secured defense after that very, very strong opening round. Seattle did a wonderful job of pulling things back there, trust me. I don't think it's enough. We should see the defense on round 5 to London. And look, mate, until we get them changes, that's just the way this game's going to play.
Yeah, Tommy's Turtles would be proud of the way they handled that final few moments down the stretch. And it'd be interesting to see. I mean, Seattle has shown a look over towards B off the rip. They did that in round number 1. And it looks like that's not going to be the case here round number 2. Not even a 2-2 split. It is just a full 8-man stack potentially over towards A, where Seattle, these are the gunfights. I mean, it is a requirement, it feels like at this point, for you to win and get a strong start off the opening break. And Zero there and ready. He picks up 2, shuts down Pred, and shuts down the map control. Seattle, welcome back to the blender. But this time, I mean, you have to find a way to get out of this.
Oh, there's one way to get out of it, and it is just skill. Blistering skill, incredible teamwork, and it doesn't matter when Afro's on the flank like this. 23-17 overall. Here comes the old Shiv right to the gut of Surge. Yeah, look at them, Co. They've got them covered. Afro, oh dear God, he might be blessed with a few here if he can time this right. There's number 1. Spawn still going to be close. Accuracy peaks. Still does manage to stay alive. But look how close they're still spawning. The Ravens have got guns up all over them. You are truly surrounded now, Seattle. There's not a whole lot they can do. They are getting bled out. They are getting bullied. They are getting absolutely pounded into dust on the back end of Gavuto here. And that's the name of the game, Chance. That's just the way it is. Although, take that back. Accuracy's managed to make it over the ship.
Well, the comical thing about that setup actually was the fact that they were so deep in their spawn and had presence both at like the P4 hardpoint and beach that players for Seattle were spawning everywhere. I mean, behind players to their sides. And funnily enough, because you were so far in their spawn on both sides, blocking almost every available spawn, they end up getting out over towards A. So Seattle, I mean, a small gift outside of the fact that they are down by 6 lives, but at least maybe an opportunity for these guys to fight.
Well, this could be the play, though. You capture A, you get yourself the time on the clock, and then maybe go over towards B, but we'll see. We've still got at least 1 member of Surge now gone. It was Mack,
there it goes.
And that should be it. That should be the round. 20-9 the life count. CL Surge now is just talking about hardpoint. Playing a Gavuto up after this one. And it was not an easy look here on control. And it's just the way it is. It's so hard to win, especially when you're down in lives, especially when the defensive teams are so solid there. Ravens get the win. They're going to take the lead in this series now for a brief moment. Before we get ourselves in a Gavuto hardpoint, sorry, this should be a banger. And not a bad look from either team, Chance. And everyone knows now how to play Gavuto. It's just about who's bringing the magic on the day.
And well, I mean, we've certainly seen teams that are starting to make progress, or at least it feels that way on offensive, having more like more opportunities they're creating to actually go and capture that B point, or just to buy enough time that you can slay. Again, buying time is a problem if you're not getting the bonus time for actually capturing the ticks. So certainly an issue to be dealt with, but 5 for 5 on defensive rounds. I think both teams, I mean, just slaughtering each other on the defensive side of things, but London slightly better at TDM that game. And honestly, it sort of makes sense for them to respawn, right? Afro has been one of the top slayers in the game. Gismo as well, one of the best slayers in the game. They provide on Gavutu. They provided on Tuscan. That will give them that 2-1 lead in this series. And honestly, for London, again, feeling pretty good. That Berlin S&D, not a fun time at all, but you at least got that next respawn to look forward to. And make no mistake, an incredibly important match for both these teams, right? Seattle, they could have been coming in Major 1 on Cloud 9. Instead, you get 3-0 by Florida. Not a fun look at all. And if you take a loss like this, suddenly those clutches you were having in those round 11s, in all those S&Ds, instead of looking like a positive for your team, it's instead looking like a negative, being like, oh my God, this is what it's taking for us to win. We have to have the Iceman go crazy. Like, that is not something you can rely on. So Seattle definitely want to bounce back in this series and make sure that they don't have any sort of shaky expectations going into Major 1.
We'll see if they've got what it takes. Again, Accuracy's had a very, very good series so far. He was tight in the Tuscan hardpoint. Obviously, Berlin Search and Destroy pivotal in many, many rounds. On the control, there wasn't looking bad at all, man. He knows where he wants to play. He's got angles. We saw 2-piece after 2-piece. Carrying all that momentum into the hardpoint now. And again, this Seattle must win. Don't want to go down 3-1 here. That's confidence killer gumming up on the Major. Again, for him, keep the play going, keep the squad, keep their heads on the level, keep them checked in. They're going to do a fine job here. Force that final map. That's exactly where you want to be for Seattle right now. We've seen how good they look in Search and Destroy. If they can get there, you're looking fantastic as a Seattle fan. However, though, Chance, Gavutu, we're talking about the breakers. We're talking about a map that you have to hit the rotations on. Ravens, this might not be the playground for them.
Funnily enough, I think it was this map or maybe Berlin where they were like 9 hills in a row, breaking every single one. So I think you're correct. Gavutu, very rotation heavy map in that regard. Certainly Seattle has been much better about out-rotating their opponents, but it was the same thing on Tuscan. It'll be a very interesting dynamic to see whether or not London can sort of keep that same skill in their repertoire. If Afro and guys like Nasty and Gismo can continue to provide to actually just bully these teams out, or if London will just have Zero actually start to take more routes again and try to win those rotations in that regard. But this would be a fun map to look at for these two teams. I'd say at this point, obviously, a little bit more pressure on Seattle and certainly a little bit more pressure on Sib, right? He was the guy that certainly felt the pain of playing against Florida yesterday. I think he had like a 0.68 overall KD when this guy has almost made a habit of dropping 1.2s at the start of this year. And I think this is another series where Sib has been feeling a little bit of that pressure, at least in the respawns, looking for him to turn things around and really just keep up with Gismo, because I mean, in fairness, he's normally a cold-blooded sort of guy, Sib is, so that is a face that's sort of normal for him, but got to step things up because Gismo feeling good, head down, looking at something, his phone probably.
Probably his phone, let's face it. We're all hooked to those things 24/7. Fist bumps are out, here we go. One more crack at it. Gavutu hard point here for the Ravens. This would be a 3-1 if they can win it. We force the game 5 for Seattle. You don't want to miss this one, friends. It's going to be a lot of fun. Last minutes. Now to part wisdom. Sib, headphones on, baby. Let's get into the game. Let's rock and roll, team. Staying on Gavutu. First to 250. Again, a map where you want to be in the hard point first and foremost. More money hills on this map than there are, I think, in most of the games so far. That P5 here on Tuscan. Sorry, on Gavutu. Back right corner. Down low by the docks. Very strong indeed, Chance.
And I think there's the setup, right? Well, the hold haven't been strong for Seattle necessarily, like 8th overall. Admittedly, the percentage is still fairly high, but you have Seattle 2nd overall in winning the rotations. You have London. They just don't rotate. They do not care. If Zero's not taking longer out, they are purely about the breaks, and for good reason, because they are the best break team in the game. I don't think you can afford to, against a team like Seattle, lose every single rotation, but we have seen Ravens in maps like that before where it's just a very strange play style that Ravens make work.
I mean, we only have to look as far back as the Tuscan to start the series off. Here we go, though, right over towards P1. That very large anti-aircraft gun will be bringing out no more, as everyone's going to be fighting over the time. It's found inside it. Afro Gismo find their opening kills. Here comes Pred. Here comes Pred. Can't get any more out of it though. Good shots from Zero. Accuracy now, waiting for the rest of the team to show up, getting the point. But that's it. That's what the Ravens do. They break. And I didn't know you could make that little path. Thank you for that one. Accuracy teaching out here on the CDL.
Absolutely. And now around ring, it is the dicey battles. And Afro just picks up 3. The man starts out 5, making 6-0. You are 40 seconds into this game, and Afro already has a glide bomb. Maybe he is the thorn in Seattle's side. And funnily enough, literally right from the opening break, he's actually the man that caught Sib and basically set up the pinch for his teammates. So Afro simply doing it all at this point, has as many kills as the rest of the lobby combined.
Point at Kitten in the hill. He is an absolute tiger. Finally brought down though. That's going to be the end of the run. The hill time, though, also looking lovely for the Ravens. Now towards the second hard point in our rotation over by ship. No one in there just yet. Ravens with the top boat control. CDL Surge try and make the openers. Here comes the kills. Accuracy is going to find the 2 of them. I'm over the top. Can't get any more. It's the rest of the team here to help out. Yeah, Pred's here. That's going to be another kill. Still trying to find time. You have to battle for a little bit more of that boat side space. Gismo's still alive and kicking up here. Ravens, they break on in again. There's your breaks once again.
I mean, this honestly to me looks like Ravens that went into the kickoff and said, you know what, honestly, we could wash that one away. That's just preseason. Well, with the welcome into the actual season, I mean, these guys have been on point. 3-1 record for the moment. And I mean, they have been taking it to Seattle. I mean, Nasty just got his first kill and he's still got a 40-point lead because Afro does everything. And you talk about rotation, Seattle, they are on the wrong side of the map. This is not the situation they want to find themselves in. Down 40 points, having to rotate so far. Maybe good news is it's Afro, the close one in the hills, so he's only got that MP40, but for the moment, London, this is the setup they want.
They got to worry about Pred on the flank, but if they can deal with Pred on the flank and just keep those players pinned there by the top ring, this is a huge profit now for the London Royal Ravens. 2-man hit, you can see the guns ringing out. Mack trying to hit the deep flank on the right-hand side of the beach. Here come the nades, the stuns, you name it. It's all being thrown at this point. Pred still alive on the flank. Still kicking. Finds himself one more. Here comes the potential entry. Straight on the point. Can you get the break here? And Pred gets it done. 4 before being brought down. Go, go, go. Surge gun on the point. Starting to get some time. Guns up in time. No, it's not enough. Nasty with 2. Unbelievable break. Back on the top of the last one. It is breaks on breaks in this game.
I mean, look, if Pred doesn't pick up that big 3, I mean, we might be looking at a game where there's a potential 100-point club. And even those kills towards the end, I like that from Pred, right? His team is fully secure on that rotation. And I think Pred, literally by himself, just saves his team maybe an extra 15 or 20 seconds. So it is certainly not a fun spot to be in. It's now 0. He is waiting for his teammates over towards the beach side or just waiting for the glide bomb to come through. That should be good for at least 1 kill or maybe none at all. They're still picking up a couple kills, and they are going to be blocking those spawns. So Seattle is going to spawn out. That means for Mack, pressure's on inside the point. You got to go big.
Mack loves pressure. Good tags. All across the board. Pred staying alive. Beautiful stuff. Mack does get dropped. 2 members of the Ravens down the hard point. Where the hell are they going to spawn? Well, close enough, dude. Pred, get your gun up fast. You've got a lot more players to contend with. Huge kills on the point, up close and personal. How many more can he get? The detonate's going to save him for now. His teammates rock on up. Pred's holding on to this one. A Seattle Surge. Let's go for a very quick listen in and see how it sounds.
He's hitting front time. Yeah, every push.
He's
get out here. I'm going to We're all going left. They're going to be clipping you, Lamar.
Yeah.
I don't see him P3.
He's clip on me on 1 shot.
Just play slow. I'll try to miss for a minute. I'm with you. I don't see him grading. What's that tower? I'm going down the ring stairs.
Cliff Nasty 1 shot. Cliff Nasty 1 bullet. Okay, he's gonna go boat. He's 1 bullet down.
Third boat. Third. You saw me third.
Okay. I spawn close.
You play kills, man. Propane dead. Nice. Gismo third. One time.
Cubby time.
Third week.
He's cubby time.
Cubby killed me. Afro. He's cubby. He's back on third. He's still third, I'm pretty sure. Third. One shot time. I need him.
I'm nading time.
I need time. Another time as well. I hit
him with the nade, guys.
I jumped out. I'm waiting for it. I'm sliding in cubby.
Propane 1 shot. Propane trade 1 shot.
Propane.
Oh, I couldn't get down. Fuck. He's crossing green. There you go. Get you. They're gonna be on rotation. I spawned here. One can spawn down. I have your ring stairs.
Ring stairs, kill me.
I got him. One more on me. Afro's
Red as well. I'm close. Each out me. I'm gonna flank their side low. They're gonna be ring.
Okay. I'm nading over ring. I naded ring.
I hit
him with the nade.
I killed him. He's dead.
1 shot.
Dashy's on me on the rock.
Afro shot our side.
1 shot the ramp.
Alright, our side ring, okay?
Come our side with nades.
Yeah, good. I need P3 maybe.
Yo, Trevor's on. He's on the rock. He's on the rock. He's close.
I'm flanking boat.
He's either rock or he's shortcut.
Left the guy. Trevor's behind us. I'm flanking this dude.
The Ravens starting to fly away with a hard point here on Gavutu chance, and despite every effort there, Seattle Surge couldn't get anything going.
And I can't tell if that was intentional. I think Zero might have just on purpose let Pred through, call out for his teammates so Zero doesn't give away his position. And I mean, they turned into just a nearly perfect P1 hold. So whether or not it was intentional, I mean, Ravens fully just storming away with this game. Not even remotely close. The best moment Seattle has had is just how they dealt with the glide bomb when it's been called in. Outside of that, I mean, they are just getting straight up bullied in this series.
It's not looking ideal so far. Afro managing to pull something out of nowhere with that kill. Seattle Surge, though, with control of boat side for now. It all comes down to Mack. He's got to go huge here. Outside himself that 3-piece in the feed, but he's been cut down immediately. And here come the Ravens once again. Are we going to add another break to the pile now? As the hard point lining up for the defense is going to be big, though. Here comes Gismo top ladder, cut down from Pred. Still plenty more players infiltrating the boat. They've got their hooks across and they're trying to scuttle this bad boy. Pred can't find anything just yet, but the rest of his teammates still trying to find kills all over the place. Tons of time remaining on this hard point as the Ravens, they've managed to get in. Pred's still alive, though. They haven't contended with that. With Pred done, it all comes down to accuracy. Oh, baby, chance they're holding this time well.
Yeah, and I mean, I just watched Pred do what, like 3 or 4 360s, just literally running in circles. And meanwhile, eventually Ravens able to break through. Important AR gunfights that Gismo with 26 kills able to deliver. And I'm not the best lip reader, but I can could see how confident Gismo is at this point in the series. And again, I mean, 222 to 86 at this point, it would be the most incredible comeback we have had so far this year if Seattle finds some way to get back in it. I mean, good news for them. They get the rotation, they get here first, but if there's been one theme for this Ravens squad, at some point, they will break through this element.
They are the breakers. Time going the way of Seattle Surge. Kills certainly going the way of the Ravens for now. 2-piece from Zero. Top of the boat. 5 in a row. Finding a few more. Mack now trying to hold the lines down. And this is good from Surge. Keep this set up. Don't let anyone through. Sib takes care of the watchful eye. But Zero. Yeah, Afro's in. He's in. Afro! Oh my God. Nearly gets Sib as well. Still holding it down. Seattle keep it locked tight. And Chance, they're doing it. Slowly but surely, they're doing it.
I mean, the good news is for London, though, they at least catch Pred out on the rotation, so they might be secure for new, but it's been a strong hold, right? You get the full 60 you need. They're going to need a couple more of those, but maybe a moment to get back in it. The problem is it is a hike across this map. You need to win almost every single one of these gunfights. Pred knows that Zero's above him, and keep in mind, it's not just him. Number 2, accuracy, trying to make a play, but accuracy gets caught. Pred, the next man up, has to find some sort of opening, has to be able to flip these spawns, and for the moment, he has found his way around back, but now it's about the gunfights. You gotta win a bunch of them.
Zero, eyes on him, got him pinned down behind the rock. This is it. This is Judgment Day now. Seattle Surge trying to get in, ttrying to find the entry to the hard point. The 3-man stack through the here they come in. A Nasty finds the shots into the first. Nasty gets one. Quick reposition. Nades are out. You name it. He's trying to get it done. Gizmo's got his back, and that is it. I cannot believe it, but the Ravens get it done 3-1. 2 hard points under control, and they are feeling fantastic after that. Chance, the biggest concern I have, a story that we were touting from the start here with Seattle Surge. They looked great at kickoff, an incredibly wonderful opener to the online qualifiers. Now they've taken 2 back-to-back losses. Where does it start to get shaky for them? Do they have the mental resolve to bounce back this close to the major? Coming in as winners is probably the greatest thing they could ask for, right?
I mean, yeah, dude, keep in mind for the 2 series that they had that were actual wins, by the way. I mean, if you're not clutching like round 11s, I mean, this team would have a 1-4 record. And admittedly, the clutch is nice to have. They have certainly been a strong team, but their past 2 series, I mean, if you got players rage quitting out of the lobby before the data view even kicks in, I think they're feeling it. Like, I would say that if you're a coach, you just blame the ping or something like that, try to make up some excuse. But I mean, this is simply not the time before Major 1 to be able to make excuses. That is 2 back-to-back series for Seattle. I mean, it just looks like the league is caught up. There's no other way to say it.
That's it. That's a scary thought as well, because, they started the series or the game off so well. Well, it feels like a lifetime ago at kickoff. But since then, slowly but surely, map by map, round by round, the Magician's secrets are being revealed, and the Ravens looking exceptionally strong in this series. Outside of that search and destroy, absolutely, they got battered. These highlights were a wonderful thing to watch. Again, whether it's hardpoint breaks or the occasional early rotations, Ravens seeming to improve their game in all the areas where we needed them to statistically rise up. but I give it to him indeed. Seattle Surge, though, again, this close to the major. Get some quality practice in, bring back the goods on land on the esports stadium Arlington. We'll see what they can do, but a very interesting turn of events, Seattle, that they have finished their qualifiers for Major 1.
And of course, the opposite for the Ravens, right? Like the only tough loss you really have this year at all is the Kickoff Classic, where it was just a tough opening look for the team. Since then, again, Gismo and Afro seemingly are able to do whatever they want. Their coordination on their breaks for hard points have been, I mean, honestly absurd. If you got to lock it down on defense on Gavutu for the control, they provide that as well. So I think everyone across the board for Ravens individually playing incredibly well. I think 0 was maybe the iffy spot early on. I think he opened things up with like a 0.7, whatever it was, KD. Since then, he's been a monster, doing whatever he needs for the squad. I mean, Ravens, they just look good. They are going to be a contender going into Major 1. They had a 4-1 performance over the course of Stage 1. So they look incredible. I think British fans everywhere might be looking at it and be like, we got these guys and Toronto to root for. Like, this is going to be a good time.
It's going to be a good time. Not a good time, though, for our lovely desk. You guys, was it all Seattle?
We all picked Seattle. We were wrong, man.
Yo, I was gonna pick London, man, but you know, this morning I changed my mind. You know, I was feeling them. Yo, by the way, Pred left the lobby like Seattle left the top of the rankings, man. That was crazy. But at the end of the day, though, London Royal Ravens proving to everybody that they're one of the top teams in the league now. Vastly underrated, of course.
Absolutely. I mean, their last series, they lose both hard points. They come back in this one, they look lights out in that game mode. There were so many plays that Afro was making on the map that were just next level, man.
The 7th streak to start off the last map.
7th streak to start off the last map. And you think about map number 1, where they needed a big play out of him on P5, rotating to P1. The guy was literally zigzag, goes all the way through church around, gets a 2-piece on the pinch, then turns around and starts to play the spawn kills. He's on another level, man. He's playing chess, not checkers, and there was nothing Seattle could do about it. And a player that we were talking about was Sib, who needed to step up in this series. He had another bad one, man. He seems to be the X factor for this team. He has not been going off, so I'm looking at him to respond at the major.
Big time, aLLeY. Any thoughts in that head of yours?
I mean, I have a lot. The control, I kind of write it off just a little bit because it's the unfortunate way round 5 plays out on kind of who gets a defense when it comes to Gavutu. But those hard points, man, it was 100% on London. They got those early rotations, which is what we were all preaching on the desk. If they early rotate, man, their hard points will look lights out. That's exactly what we saw in this series. And then you got talking the likes of Seattle. Not seeing them rotate was so mind-boggling to me. And not only that, when they sent maybe one player in rotation, which have to be Pred most of the time, they just couldn't win the rotational gunfights. Not that I expect him to. There's a reason he should be the one on first rotation. In Seattle, it just looked like a bit of a different team on respawn.
Hey, maybe Chance and Miles are right. Maybe teams finally caught up to him, and it's looking like so. But let's go ahead and catch up with Afro for the Game Field post-victory spotlight interview. Afro, listen, I'm going to say it outright, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for doubting you guys as underdogs.
I'll never doubt again.
London is legit, man. You held it down, though. You seem to just kick it up a notch at times, and when you do, you stand out more than everybody else in the lobby on both teams. When you got that 7th spree to kick off hardpoint that last map, what was running through your head? Did you know that that game was just yours at that point?
I mean, at that point, I don't know. I was a bit gassed. I was saying words I probably shouldn't have said, but you know, what I mean, I was frying. I was all over the place. But yeah, after that point, I just knew the energy was right there, and I thought my teammates obviously rode off the energy as well, which is great.
I love it.
Afro, you were absolutely disgusting at hardpoint, I have to say. And not only in the slaying power, but the routes that you take on the map. When you went back church, man, and got those 3 players and broke that hill to get that 200-point mark, it was like series over at that point. And I got to ask you, search and destroy now seems to be what you need to focus on heading into Major 1. You got to talk me through that Berlin search and destroy in the first half of the series.
I mean, the Berlin, from what we've played, is normally our best map, but I think that's the map we've played the most. So a lot of teams probably have our VOD, and they've probably been going over it, and I don't blame them. So we need to probably get stronger at another few maps. Yeah, something needs to change in the Berlin. Let's just say that, because it's not going well. Definitely not going well.
Afro, first, congratulations on a fantastic Major 1, your guys' team. You were doubted. You end up 4-1 and land yourself a fantastic seed going into winner's bracket. But also, I want to ask you, where do you feel like your team has grown the most from the start of Major 1 qualifiers up until now, headed into the actual major?
I'd probably say our team's grown the most on our comms, because obviously we all come from challengers, apart from Trey, obviously, and he's helped us a lot. If I had to say one thing, it's definitely the comms, and obviously we've been hearing all over the place. Our rotations have been absolutely dreadful. So we've worked on that coming on this week, and then hopefully when we get to the major, we'll be somewhat complete. So yeah, that's just
wonderful,
what we work on.
You did it. You rotated early.
Yeah, so
We rotated. We fucking rotated.
all right, Afro, the OpTic Texas Major is coming up. You're going to have the green wall and the fans going crazy out there. London Royal Ravens are going in as not everybody's favorite to win the event, but from what you've proved so far, hey, it's definitely up there to happen.
Yeah.
How excited are you for this major?
Beyond excited, especially from last year. We always started in losers bracket. The 12th seed or whatever. Coming in this year, obviously, I think we're second or third seed. I think we're second seed. Yeah,
Possibly, we'll see.
Seed.
You're 4-1, got to be up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, going into major second seed. Obviously with the fans as well. Jesus Christ, that'll be unreal. Playing in front of the fans. We've not really played many games in front of fans, so I can't wait. I really can't.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the fans here, the crowd going crazy. But I do have to say this, Afro, man. You've been lights out this entire year, you and your team. I love seeing you guys win, and can't wait to see you guys tear it up in Texas, man. You take it easy, all right?
I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good day.
You too, man. All right, aLLeY, London Royal Ravens beating Seattle. Seattle not looking as hot as they did at the beginning of the year. What are you thinking about that? I mean, Pred and Simp are looking real human.
Rewind. Every single day we've had these weekends so far that the competition just kind of keeps getting hotter.
Yes.
And how can you not love London, man? They're all so wholesome all around. They just keep proving themselves, man. They've absolutely convinced me, and I'm sure the rest of the desk as well.
Right now, you guys have been hearing us talk about this major this entire time throughout the interview, and coming up is going to be a good one. I mean, we're going to Texas again, the same place as the Kickoff Classic, and nameless, this is just going to be lights out.
It's going to be an incredible event, man. We get to, the most fun thing in esports is having big events, having crowds, and at this major, we get to finally crown our first real champion of the season, so I can't wait, man.
Yes, now, ladies and gentlemen, there goes the dates. If you're in Texas or around it, make sure you get there. March 3rd through the 6th, we're going to see the best of the best from the CDL battle it out. Who knows who's going to win, though? Who's going to be on top? And I'm hoping that yesterday and that last series shows you that this is anybody's event. But coming up next, we're going to have Boston going up against OpTic Texas. That is a matchup that I can't wait to see. There's a lot of debate and chatter on Twitter about who people think are going to win this one. And me personally, I don't know. I'm going towards Boston, though. But we'll catch you guys on the other side of break. You all take it easy.
There's a lot of debate.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Zenny Gaming. Armor your eyes with Block's gaming glasses starting at $24 by visiting zenny.com/CDL.
And he'll have some words for forcing the issue of like he's inside the face, and that's going to be 5 in a row. How about 6?
There's 2, there's 3.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. The last day of qualifiers before the OpTic Texas Major, and this matchup right here is going to be a banger. Before we went to that break, aLLeY tried to poke some fun at me. So, do your best Valley impression and introduce
No, I am weird. I'm just going to say Boston like a normal human being. No, stop.
Yes, now, the Boston Breach will face off against OpTic Texas, 2 teams that have made waves so far this season. And, Nameless, I'm really excited, but Boston, what they've been doing so far, flying under the radar, being highly successful and explosive at the same time. I mean, we all didn't expect this, but like the London Royal Ravens, they're in the mix.
Yeah, they're in the mix. What we saw to them was fantastic search play throughout most of the Major 1 qualifiers, but in that last match, they lost 2 of them to the New York Subliners, which is just simply unacceptable. These guys, they have to be an excellent search team. We've yet to see them play Desert Siege. It seems to be their auto veto, so I'd like to see them mix that in before the Major.
Okay.
But like I said, in this series, they just have to win 1 map to land a spot in winners, is what we were told. So they got to get one of them, Belly. I don't anticipate them winning this, but they got to get a map.
Yes, now when it comes to the game field keys of victory, what does Boston have to do?
Well, they got to bounce back from 2 S&D losses yesterday. They're still #1 in round win percentage, which is actually mind-blowing. They lost those S&Ds fairly close yesterday. It was 6-5 in the first one, 6-4 in the game 5. They were really close. They just need to close them out. And smooth sailing if you win rotations. OpTic is 12th in hardpoint break percentage, and Boston actually was struggling with their rotations yesterday, so hopefully coming today they tighten those up and get the edge versus OpTic Texas when it comes to hardpoint. And they need more slaying from Nero. He was the only player negative in the loss yesterday, 0.89 KD on the season. That's going to be a round man for this squad, so hopefully we see him step it up today.
You know, they're going to have to step it up because all of these players, they've been phenomenal, and them going into this Major strong with a little bit of fire behind them is the Boston Breach that we would love to see, right? Big Cap doing his thing. TJ's warming up, but TJ has been a topic of discussion because of just his past and what he's currently bringing to the table. The man's been going off.
He has. He's been consistently a really top slayer for this squad, which I feel like was surprising for everybody across the board. And also Methodz as well yesterday made a lot of clutch moments where it really kept Boston Breach in the series against OpTic Texas. And the hardpoints, they weren't even close. They smoked them out. It was really the control in the SDs where they struggled. So going into today, I'm hoping to see the Boston Breach we expected to in the series yesterday.
Yes, now the team they're going to be facing off against is OpTic Texas. Now, hey, for those of you at home, trust us here on the desk. If we make a prediction against them, the fans are going to let you know this team is the best. They're never going to lose, yada, yada, yada. I had my boy Diesel even tweet at me. But the thing is with this team, yeah, they had a rough start to the year, but they're picking things up slowly but surely now. Shotzzy popping off before. aBeZy stepped up in a big way, and you love seeing that.
Yeah, I love seeing it. He's been the player for me that's been the X factor. He's been playing so well. OpTic Texas in that last series, they answered a lot of our questions when it came to search and destroy and also control. It's been great, honestly. That's the guy that we need to see step up, and it's made Shotzzy play better. We've seen Scump step up in the search and destroys as well. So OpTic Texas looking really scary now going into the Major.
Yeah, and going into this Major, this is what they're going to have the home team advantage. You know what I'm saying? All the green wall are going to be there. We saw it at the Kickoff Classic, but when it comes to the game field keys of victory, OpTic has to go big because going into their own event, they want all the momentum on their side.
Yeah, you know, landing a spot in winner's bracket, obviously that's huge. But for the game field keys of victory, X Factor iLLeY. You know, we talk about it, 7-0 maps where he goes positive. So clearly there's a correlation there. And then have to win first bloods versus an elite S&D team. OpTic is last in first blood win percentage. So they know exactly what they need to do. It's just slowing down and getting that first blood. And if you don't, obviously it's not working. So moving on to the next one, continue to find success winning rotations. Now, they don't have a great break percentage, but they're second in rotation win percentage and hold percentage. As long as they rotate and set up, they're doing well on the hills, right? So try not to get in a situation where you have to continuously break.
Yeah, and those stats are really interesting. Shout out to Carson once again. basically, let's call it the hoop factor, where whenever he went positive, the team won, and we saw an example of that yesterday. And seeing that right now, OpTic, they're going to have to strike fast, they're going to have to strike hard, and they're going to have to be super good to beat Boston. They're not an easy team to play against.
No, not at all. And I really think it's going to come down to the hard points and controls when it comes to this OpTic Texas team. They're going to have to continue the rotational investment that they have been putting into these series.
Yes.
Once again, they are 12th in breaking percentage, so they have to continue those early rotational gunfights, as well as surprising opening offensive wins in control. We saw it yesterday on Tuscan when they take B points immediately, and that's what really gave them the edge in that series. So we need to see that again today.
Yes, now it's time for pick'ems. Nameless, Boston or OpTic, who's going to wear green better today?
I think OpTic Texas are going to take it. Honestly.
Okay.
I didn't like what I saw at Boston in that New York series. I think OpTic takes this one.
No. aLLeY, how you feeling?
This is probably the hardest pick
What is your
I've
heart
ever.
telling you?
I think Boston's going to breach the green wall.
Okay, there you have it. Boston's going to breach the green wall. So we have OpTic Texas with Nameless. We have Boston breach with you. I'm going to be honest. This is a coin flip matchup. I like both of these teams a lot. OpTic looked phenomenal last time we saw them on screen. Boston, not so phenomenal last time we saw them on screen. But the entirety of the year, they've been great. Me, I'm going 3-2 on the side of Boston, only because we've seen more from them. And OpTic, they're phenomenal. Oh, a little flip coming in from aLLeY. Let's get it. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time to toss this over to the commentators. It's going to be the battle of the green, man. It's going to be a fun one. Lando and Steady, how you doing today?
Oh, we're doing great, Vel. It seems like you guys are doing quite well also. Are you feeling okay? Both going for Boston?
Lando, I didn't want to say it, but these guys got to be.
I love chaos, man. I'm going to look at Twitter and have like 50 notifications.
I'm going to remember this. I'm going to remember this.
Twisted.
We'll revisit this. Listen, we'll revisit this at the end of the series, and we'll see where all the chips end up laying out. We've had that happen a few times, but who knows what'll happen in this one. I mean, what, Jay? It's the final day of our Major 1 qualifiers. To be honest, anything has the ability to happen. If you're an OpTic fan, you're sleeping well at night. You're going to be in the winner's bracket at your own major, but Boston, they've got to win one map. Buddy, do you think it could be this one?
I think it definitely can be this one, because on the side of OpTic, they've only had the chance to play this once, and it was at the kickoff. They ended up losing that match to the LA Thieves, 250 to like 217. It was really close, and one player that really struggled was Scump. He sat at like a 16-25 stat line, didn't have a hot start to this game. So now that OpTic are coming into a Gabutu hardpoint off the rip, I'm looking at Scump to be that player with the AR in his hands to really step up. They have to make sure that their rotation's on point, because like the Death said, they're last when it comes to breaking into hardpoints.
Yeah, without question, my friend, OpTic have already sealed their fate, and we'll go ahead and leave that pun for later. Often into the hill we go. Big hill off the rip here on Gabutu, and it is the breach controlling things quite nicely as Capsidal will be sent flying over towards the beaches. Meanwhile, it's Nero on the flank. How about this start for breach? Constantly slaying out, as now they'll finally capture the hill once more.
This has been a great break off to start this game for Boston. Uncontested for the time being until one player from OpTic, which is going to be Dashy, trying to finesse his way around. 15 seconds left. You have to start thinking about that rotation. Dashy trying to do everything he can to stay alive, but unfortunately he does get traded. But now this is where that rotation gunfights are going to come in. Number 8, which is going to be Scump, is going to be here first.
Yeah, Scump looking to try and change up the KD on Gabutu. Hardpoint, as you said, partner, did not have a great performance versus the Thieves whenever they played this map. We'll see if he can look to try to turn things around. Off to an 0-3 beginning, but at least for him, it's his good old duo. Shotzzy off to a 3 streak as OpTic Texas have reclaimed control back over toward both. They get the 3-for-1 trade, and now they have got time inside of P2 for the moment. Breach looking for their opportunity, looking for their chance to seize the moment. As TJ will be the first one to break on in. Trade still fresh and out there. OpTic will reclaim the advantage as iLLeY now enters into 5 in a row.
So far, OpTic, they've been in control of this game, when they were able to contest a good chunk of time towards that P1 and basically dominate this P2 hardpoint, forcing all of Boston to continuously spawn towards the back hill. But with Boston picking up that 2-piece in the feed, they're able to flip these spawns. Now spawn back red tower. Scump has to try to go big on the backside to flip these spawns.
It was a great play originally, right from Capsidal, to sort of push through Beach just to ensure that the Breach will have the advantageous spot off the rip, but it's iLLeY who's there to take him down, sitting on 6 in a row. He finally drops, but that is a good sign, Jay. If you're an OpTic Texas fan, Ant called iLLeY the X factor for this team. The way that he is beaming off the start of this map, it's got to be a sign of good things to come.
Jeez, especially when they're starting off like that. That's going to be another 4 dead. Now this is going to force Boston to start thinking about that rotation because this hill is not going to be easy to break in. 30 seconds left. Methodz does connect with that nade. Nero does find too. So now with this remaining 30 seconds here, they should be able to get on this point, but you have to start thinking about the rotation. TJ trying to make a play on the flank, unfortunately gets taken down.
Yeah, we know it, right? Gavutu is all about those rotations. I mean, every hill outside of maybe P2, I think based off of our stats, Carson can confirm that with me, but I believe outside of P2, every hill almost acts like a money hill, and these next two upcoming can absolutely dictate the way the score will look, as Texas will, despite a few pesky plays out of the breach, trying to make their way into the flank. OpTic will hold on to those spawns for next. As player 3 trying to sneak on through, specifically that's going to be TJ. Meanwhile, over at P1, it's a duel, one from the breach, but that's the only fight that they're going to take. A solid wave stopped early for Texas.
Yeah, and you have OpTic all spawning out towards cliffside. So they're going to start thinking about a player approaching the backside for Boston, but they're just moving so slow. They're able to set up this crossfire. TJ finds that first kill onto Scump. Nero does find the second. So now the attack's going to be from the front side. What can OpTic do? Dashy takes down the first. TJ trying to take down the both of those players, but iLLeY able to come out on top in the trade. And with 25 seconds, OpTic's still going to be spawning in the back. This is the best case scenario right now for Boston. If you can get this time, you're going to continuously spawn OpTic all the way across the map from that P5 hardpoint. That's how they get back into this game.
Yeah, right. It's the one little advantage, right, that you have, even though this spawn is so difficult, so sticky, as we like to call it in Vanguard. It can work out in your favor, even if you are attacking it. Why? Because that obviously that team is going to stay back there. You have the ability to reference on back and focus for that next hill. Farthest pushed up player is going to be iLLeY toward the top side of your map as he looks to try and work around for spawns. Off to a great start. Shout out iLLeY, man. 13 and 6. Austin with the early seconds. TJ locking down the time, but it's just a matter of moments before OpTic look to try to seize on in. That's going to be one, make it two. How about the third? Methodz the last player alive, and he gets dropped as well. OpTic break gone through, and now they have got a good position with 30 seconds left.
And this is great to see out of OpTic. And one thing that I really took away from their Toronto series was just their teamwork, especially in search and destroy. You can just tell that their communication is starting to click. Right there, they put themselves in a situation. They said, hey, we're not going to attack this from front side ship. We're going to go all the way around the beach side, flip those spawns, and then eventually allow us to break in towards that P5 hard point. Those are the little adjustments that OpTic have made since the beginning of the year till now, and they've definitely shown improvements.
Yeah, without a doubt, my friend. That's the little things that you want to see, right? Coming into the major that you want to see adjusted. It's the little things. It's the little things coming into the major where those things can absolutely be exploited. We've got 50 seconds left over at P1. Let's step aside and see how the comms sound. Let's go to a listen now with OpTic Texas.
I'm hitting up. He's yeah, chowed it, Nero. He's hurt. Still P1.
Yo, one's like ship cutting.
Hold right here. Hold right here.
Yeah, ship cutting.
All good.
One's already pushing. He's pushing me rock.
Teach killed me cutting.
Do you have my chase?
Right.
You really nice.
Nice. Deep outer.
We should run.
Yep.
Teach gonna be P3. Or like P5, I think.
Big one P5. I'm seeing P5. Nothing low cage.
Could be in our in.
Let's go quick. I don't see Teach. Push through.
Yeah, he's top left ship.
I don't see him. Still there. I'm going.
I'm nading it.
I don't see anything middle.
I need a top one.
Yeah, beat him in as well.
Beat him. Got one. One more teach.
Beat him.
There's a top one.
I'm playing my life. I'm hitting this with you. Hit ladder with me.
Yo, really weak teach. He's, I think it's low cliff. That's not check right.
One shot Teach top. Absolute. And one's low.
I'll get top left. I'll get our top left. Yeah. More, yo, one's top. He's beat him actually. Beat him.
I'm pitching.
Yo, one's P5 cap.
Yeah, two there. I got P5. They're off. P5 cap still somewhere? I'm not cap. One's P5. One is P5 still.
I'll see P5
in the absolute. Their side hill. He's like their hole. It's in their hole. One shot. Yo, we don't know where cap went.
Yo, what's their hole, guys?
Are you looking for cap this time?
Is that time right now?
I don't see him time. And one's top green behind us.
There's one more top on me.
Top absolute P5.
Top teach. Dead.
Nice. So good time. All good.
I have P1.
Yeah, keep one in P1, Brandon.
Yeah, I got it.
Yep. Yo, hold your beat on.
Beat on me.
I went to Ivy ladder. Nothing beat him. Yeah, I'm coming P1, Brandon. I'm coming quick, Brandon.
I'm beat him. Pinch me P1 cap. Beat him in P1 cap. Beat on me, guys.
One and all, Nero, dead. See this guy?
There's one more beat on teach. One was P1 cap.
P1 cap. I'll see P1.
Watch out, beat him. Watch out, beat him.
I need help.
Yo, beat him going through hole. Beat him going through hole.
I'm holding P1, guys. I need help.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm needed. Yo, he's in the back. Cap's in. One shot, absolute time. Get a good nade on it. He's absolute, brother.
I hear that.
They're gonna be in the back of me. I'm playing my life. I'm nading P1. I'll come P1.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back. And I gotta say, man, a team that's often criticized for communication, criticized for in-game leadership, all of those things, I feel like everybody was getting in the mix.
Yeah, they definitely were getting in the mix. It's just unfortunate that Boston were able to just hold down the P1 the way that they were. That's why they have the lead currently into this P3 hardpoint, but OpTic trying to do everything they can to try to stay alive. But iLLeY, unfortunately, is going to go down. So now Boston still controlling the spawns towards the backside. A lot of pressure coming in from OpTic towards the front. Shotzzy, last player farthest switched up. He's going to drop. And now with the remaining 25 seconds here, Boston should be able to continuously grow this lead.
And Texas will throw at least one more life at it. iLLeY has to sacrifice for the betterment of the team. But another big rotation. Breach will grab the seconds. Capsidal, a major 1v1 for him to take position made known. And Dashy's there to clean it up. So with that Breach, a nice little advantage coming into this next hard point. If a break could be successful here, we're already talking potentially about Boston guaranteeing themselves a winner's bracket spot. It's only going to take one map. It's not going to be easy. Texas are not going to give away anything as iLLeY takes down 2 off the rotation. The others now positioned over at Beach. 45 valuable seconds left. It's a 2 versus 2 inside of the hill as Dashy remains stable toward the backside. He and his teammates looking great from both ends as this looks to be a full 60 unless Breach have got anything prepared. And take a look at Shotzzy. He's already thinking about next.
This has been a great hold from OpTic to potentially take the lead here with this remaining 25 seconds here. But Capsidal, a huge one-on-one, makes it a 2-piece at the old hard point. That's going to cause some problems for the players on the side of OpTic.
Look at the spawns.
But they do spawn out. You have one player who spawns red tower, a couple players who are spawning by ship. But Boston able to find another 2 in the feed. TJ in a great spot off the rotation to cause some problems. He finds 2 as well. So now Boston, they should be able to control these back spawns with number 2 working it all the way around, which is going to be Methodz, currently up by 20 points. Boston need to get the break.
They need to breach the hill. We'll see if they can live up to their name. They've got spawns. It looks to be that way as iLLeY, a great nade early on for Methodz. Trying to communicate to the team on how they want to break this. A massive hill all ready for Boston as Dashy lingering inside of green. The pistol is out. The pistol is good. And so is the teamwork. 4 straight go down for the breach. A solid looking push instantly getting thwarted from the other end. Texas will reclaim the advantage and will have the final 20 seconds go their way. It's a race now over at P1. Early fights inbound. Shotzzy falling down the cliff, but still winning the fights for 1. Nearly takes down the second. Texas with the final seconds as they'll be at around 240 after this hill goes down. A massive moment already for Boston in this game.
OpTic cannot make the same mistake that they made for the second rotation of these hard points. They were just solo challenging 1 by 1, basically gave Boston the full 60 on this point. Want to take your time, and with Shotzzy and Dashy hitting shots like that, able to open up with some initial gunfights. Methodz trying to do everything he can to stay alive here.
A huge 1v1. Methodz has to win it. Pulls out the pistol, but it gets taken down. It's all on to Nero, who does win the fight. Breach will stabilize for the moment. Aware of the Texas positionings, as that'll be 3 down to start. Scump trying to make his way around the back.
Here.
His position may in fact be known. You see TJ going for the pre-aim. Breach cannot win it. Scump drops. And while they will hold for the moment, only 3 more seconds. 3 more seconds. Texas don't win for the rotation. They decide to challenge at P1. Moments away from getting a second, but TJ staying alive. Methodz, a big 1v1 for him to take. It's he versus Scump, and Methodz will walk away with it. Shotzzy falls as well. It's all going to be onto the rotation. Breach have stayed alive, and they will win it. I thought somebody from OpTic was still alive, but no. Not going to be the case. Breach secure the game, and already the storyline that we're talking about was that they just have to win 1 map. That was it. And they've already got the job done, Jay.
Yeah, Boston, they relieve so much pressure just based off of that map number 1 victory. Now they know that they already have the winner's bracket underneath their belt. Now it's all about now you can just let it all go. All that stress, you're going to be on top of the world right now, knowing that you made that winner's bracket side. Now job not done.